Saturday, April 26th, and I'm here with Jarett Andretti, and we're at Haubstadt, Indiana, Tri-State Speedway, and it's my first time here. Jarett, how many times have you raced here?
It's my first time here as well, so it'll be a new experience for both of us.
Wow, that's really cool. Okay, I actually wrote some questions down and prepared this time. What's it like coming from a well-known family, the Andrettis, of racing for you? What's it like?
I think it's, there's some positives and negatives to it. I think there's a lot of positives. You get a lot of good advice. You can go to different people for, for guidance on where you need to go. But in the end, you just go out there and race just like everybody else, and they treat you the same, and you treat everybody else the same. So it's really no different on the racetrack.
Good. Well, I've watched you race, and you're pretty good out there in this white number 18. What's 18 significant?
Actually, it was my grandfather's sprint car number. He had a white 18 just like this. He actually had red headers on it, though. We don't have those, but it was a pretty cool car, so we decided to paint the car white, paint everything white, and put number 18 on it, and kind of tribute to him.
Very nice tribute. Thank you, Jarett. So do you remember going to your first race ever as a little kid? And where was it, if so? Or your first memory of a racetrack from that maybe stood out?
I would say the first memory of a racetrack would be when he won at Daytona.
Him?
My dad.
Yep, John Andretti.
That's probably my first memory of a race. But other than that, I can't remember. I know I had been to other ones before that I have pictures of, but I can't remember.
So Daytona, you said?
Yep.
Daytona. What year was that? How old were you?
It'd be 97, and I would be 5 or 6.
Well, that's a good memory for being 5 or 6. So, okay, great. Can you tell me about your first win ever behind the wheel?
That would probably have to throw it back to the go-kart days. I think it was in the rain.
Where at?
It was at Carolina Motorsports Park in a go-kart. It was my first rain race, and Dad had the car tuned in really good, and and we drove. I had a lot of fun. That's kind of new. When I got to the dirt, I knew I'd have a lot of fun because it was pretty similar. So.
Cool. So has your dad been your number one teammate the whole time?
Yeah, he's been a big fan, supporter, and he actually was my teammate at one point. We rode 24 Hours of Daytona together, so he's been a little bit of everything.
So that leads to one of my questions on my list. You've drove a lot of cars, and this question I hope you find interesting. If you were to get paid the same to drive any kind of car, so you had your choice, if there was a NASCAR Cup car here, an Indy car sitting here, a sprint car, a wing or non-wing, be specific, what would you choose to drive?
Well, I would like to try them all out first. I've only tried, with all of that, I would be between those 4 and everything else I've driven would be a non-wing sprint car. But, I've never driven a wing sprint car, I've never driven an Indy car, but I can imagine that my dad says these are the most fun cars to drive. I'll just take his word for it, and I'll probably stick to these. So
the non-wing sprint car is your answer, but you have yet to be in an Indy car, you said?
Yet to be in an Indy car or a Cup car or anything with a body on it, really. The only thing I've driven with fenders is that 24 Hours Daytona car. So. What do you think watching TV would be your favorite? Doesn't the Truck Series look kind of fun to be bumping and banging? It does look fun. The Truck Series does appeal to me. I think the biggest appeal is the 500, just getting to run at that race. I think that being there at that race would be more fun than actually driving a car.
Exactly. I shot the Daytona 500 last year, and that was a lot of fun. Nothing compares to the Super Bowl of NASCAR.
Absolutely.
So as a driver, you have drove a lot of sprint cars, and you say just non-wing, but what else have you drove? You have Silver Crown cars.
Silver Crown on pavement and dirt. I've driven a pavement sprint car, a pavement midget, indoor midget, Focus midget, some F2000 stuff, a GT car, a super modified wing and non-wing, and
of all of those, what stands out as your favorite accomplishment as a driver? Something that you were so happy, and it doesn't have to necessarily be a win, but an accomplishment.
I think it was when we ran a year in Focus, and then I ran the next year, and it was pretty much just me and my dad taking care of the cars, and the guy that took care of them had to go back to work, and we took care of them, and we won, I think, 5 races, and
a Focus?
A Focus car, yep, and down in North Carolina.
What are those? Tell me.
They're like the Ignite midgets.
Oh.
Okay, so it was like my second year racing. Me and him took care of the cars. We did all the testing together. He's over there mounting tires and doing maintenance, and it was just kind of me and him, and we won the pavement championship. So that was a lot of fun that year.
Very cool. Thank you. And how do you feel about the Silver Crown Series? Since how you're competing this year, what do you think about their health? And do you, if there was any changes that you could make, what would you make? And then what do you like about the Silver Crown Series right now that you want to see this thing?
Well, it looks like the series is picking back up. I mean, 22 cars at Terre Haute. They said more close to 30 at the Hoosier 100, and so I think that's heading in the right direction. The car counts are. I think the biggest thing is that I like to see is have the pavement and the dirt. I think you should have to be able to run both to win the championship. I don't want it to see it to go just to a dirt series, kind of like the sprint cars have. You know, I think it's cool to look back and see Dave Darlin and all these guys that primarily run dirt go and run a pavement car, you know, at Anderson or Winchester, and I wish that was still the same because we would have a pavement sprint car and be able to run that.
I've heard that from another person in the series that said the same thing you sort of did. So to run pavement, though, is, in your opinion, is it more costly if you were to take two sprint cars?
Yeah, absolutely. It's more costly to run pavement because you need two sets of tires.
And the tires are, I heard, like $1,200, or is that true?
Yeah, it'd be close to that for a set of pavement tires, probably $1,000. You know, so it's $2,000 in tire bill plus the wear on the motor is a lot more. You know, the races are typically longer, and you know the cars are more expensive and more fragile. It's more expensive to run, but to get to the next level, you got to run pavement. That's
true. That's what the other person said, because it helps the driver's overall skill. And then lastly, sponsors. What sponsors have helped you out to get where you're at today?
Well, obviously Superior Auto here on the non-wing car here in Indiana, and also the Window World on the non-wing car when we go to Nebraska and Pennsylvania and Florida, also Wisconsin, and then they're also on the Silver Crown car here in Indiana and when we travel. And then Indy Trading Post, we're actually going to run the pavement sprint car at the Nibel on Sunday, and then Little 500, and then the Breast Cancer 50 in October. So those are the three primaries, and then Hoosier and Stoops and a lot of other people, Schaefer Oil, pulled together and really helped out as well.
Well, thank you. Oh, I just thought of something. Last night, what did you think about the tracks? You were at Gas City last night, weren't you?
Yep.
Tell me about what you think of that.
Well, that was probably the oddest Gas City I've ever been to. It had like a Putnamville-sized curb, and then it was up there, and then it was around the bottom, and then the new owner is definitely doing some different things with it. So the week prior we ran there a local show, and it was super slick, and then it was heavy, and then it was super slick again. So I really don't know what to expect. It's usually you can go to those places locally and you have a plan, but Gas City, it's completely different. So
I noticed last night what you're talking about, the turn 3 and 4, there was a big, looks like a lot of people were flying off of some sort of curb off 3, I think.
Yeah. And then 1 and 2 too. I mean, there's a big one on the exit, and I mean, it hit a couple people, and it's tough to run because it gets real slick underneath it, and you got to be in the gas, and then
that's bicycle, right?
Yeah, it's just tough.
I've seen a lot of people bicycle, and 4 flips, I think, last night. It was
4 flips, really?
Robert Ballou flipped, and Logan Jarrett, and Landon Simon, and John Stamberg.
That's right. Okay, yeah.
But there was other mishaps too. But well, great. Thank you for your time. And this paperclip track, have you ever raced? Have you looked at it today?
I've looked at it. Yeah.
What do you think? Is it similar to any other tracks you've raced on?
I can't say it is. It looks like a lot of fun though. So from the videos, it looks like a lot of fun. This is the last Indiana track I haven't been able to race at, so I'm looking forward to getting here and trying something different.
Well, I'm excited to see you race tonight. Good luck, Jarett.
I appreciate it.
Take care.